Hello, nerds, and welcome to the 4NerdsCast. You're on with Heavy Bandit.
Keelan.
Little wife. Laura the Great.
And I hope that you three and our listeners are not too attached to your minds, because I'm about to blow them.
Okay.
I'm not cleaning that up.
So, what year do you think it is?
What year do I think it is? 2018.
You would think so.
Yeah.
It's actually 1721.
So what? So what
If you subscribe to the phantom time hypothesis.
Oh my goodness. Phantom time.
So I read
Okay.
across this the other day. This is a theory that was proposed by a man named Herbert Illig. He was born in 1947 in Bavaria.
Where's Bavaria?
Bavaria.
I believe it's Bavaria.
Bavaria.
Mispronounced.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I know where Bavaria is.
It's next to Bavaria. next door.
It's the bar next door.
You should open a bar in Bavaria called Bavaria.
You know, that would actually explain where all this came from if he lived in a bar. But he first published this hypothesis in 1991 that proposed that there was a conspiracy between the Holy Roman Emperor Otto III, Pope Sylvester II. Quick interjection. The fact that there's been two popes named Sylvester.
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 Like
Yeah.
Like,
I taught a putty tag.
Yeah.
That's Sylvester.
Anyway.
Well, that's not Sylvester. That's
so
Well,
Yeah.
most of the popes are Italian, so that kind of makes sense. Like it's an Italian name.
Stallone.
So, again, Holy Roman Emperor Otto III, Pope Sylvester II, and possibly Byzantine Emperor Constantine the Seventh. It's all in Roman numerals.
You gotta do math every time.
But a conspiracy from all of them to fabricate the Anno Domini dating system, which we know as AD.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, what he's saying is that the years between 614 and 911 never happened. That all that history was fabricated and none of it actually ever existed.
Wow.
Okay, on the one hand, that's friggin' crazy. On the other hand, I could totally buy that.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's
Like, okay, I've been watching a TV show that I should have watched a long time ago, The Tudors. And I'm a huge history buff. I've always been on the Henry VIII side of the schism. The Catholic Church was way too powerful. You know, they kept poor people poor. They would not teach the common people things that were actually true about the Bible. They were stealing from them, things like that. And so I could totally buy that they would be like, you know what? We just tell the small people that it's the year 9/11 and tell them that these things happen and they just make it up. I could see that happening.
it wouldn't surprise me either.
But the history major in me says, but what about all the archaeological finds and documentation they have from that time period?
Okay. Allow me to rebut. According to Mr. Illig, the scarcity of archaeological evidence that can be reliably dated between that period, the perceived inadequacies of radiometric and dendrochronological methods of dating during this period, and the over-reliance of medieval historians on written sources.
Wow. I mean, on some points, I do agree with him on that. But why that specific time period and not a time period before or after that had exactly the same, that we've used exactly the same methods?
Yeah, I don't know.
It just doesn't make sense.
Here's the craziest thing. That time period includes a little known guy named Charlemagne.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
And
who
so,
Charlemagne is.
of course you do. Everybody knows who Charlemagne is.
That's one of the things you learn, like in basic history.
But what
in school,
he's saying is
who Charlemagne is.
Charlemagne was fake.
Oh
No.
Lord, no,
He just
That's-
lost
he was
me.
not.
Yeah, that's
He just lost me.
that's what he's saying. It's
so
just-
not.
Let's just say this though. In the scheme of conspiracy theories, things like this are way more likely to be true than like we faked the moon landing. Is it not right? I mean,
There's a podcast that I've been listening to, and a person during one of their live shows came up and was talking about their cousin, who, among other things, is a flat earther. Which
And
that right there is
yeah.
crazy.
There's your problem.
But she said a sentence that I didn't know was a thing that actually existed. But apparently it is. I mean, there's 7 billion-ish people on the planet. The fact that even one of these people exist, but I'm sure, I mean, law of large numbers says there's more.
Yeah.
The sentence she said was, he doesn't believe in gravity.
Tell the story.
Okay. What is going on here?
What? I don't know.
Our oldest daughter didn't believe in.
Yeah, that's what reminded me of too. When she was what? I don't know, 12, 15?
Something like that.
And she says she didn't believe in lava. She didn't believe in lava. Lava didn't exist.
It's the same sort of concept of I'm smart enough to know better, and I've never experienced that or I've never seen that, so it must not be real. There's a large number of people who think that narwhals are fictional creatures.
But to go back to the gravity thing, that is something I've actually heard of. I've heard of people who actually
That's just crazy.
believe in that they believe that the force that's holding us to the earth is a spiritual force and it has nothing to do with science. They don't believe in any science.
You know what I want
Some
to
of
do?
these people,
Like, if
it's
somebody
just-
were to tell me
Wild.
they didn't believe in gravity, I would push them over immediately and be like, what now?
Hey, let's go loony tipping.
Well, if
But
it's a spiritual force that is keeping you tethered to the ground, then every time you fall down, that's the will of the Lord. God wants you to hit your face on the concrete when I push you over.
Aw, I'm sorry. God wants you to fall.
Yeah.
here's the thing about this whole theory, though, that really kind of draws me to it. I say in sarcasm. Like, you guys can see my face when I say that. I realize now this is an audio medium and the rest of the world cannot.
We need sarcasm quotes.
Look, if it's 1721, we have been training for this for years. All those Ren fairs, we are ready.
Yes.
We are so ready.
Like-
So ready.
Our time has come.
My clothes are in style. Heck yeah.
I would love to read this, though. I want to know, if you have strange things like this need a reason to exist. Like, what would be the purpose in tricking the public to thinking it's a different year than what it is? I mean, I can see erasing events, but why dates? Why?
Politics.
There's
all
people
politics.
today that still believe that the Holocaust didn't exist, didn't happen, but they didn't say the years didn't exist between that time. They just what's the advantage here?
There's a lot of discussion in here about the Julian calendar, the Gregorian calendar, the tropical calendar, which I tried reading, but it really doesn't make any sense.
We all know that the calendar system is flawed anyways. So we've all just accepted that this is the year, the date, the time that we live in. It's become standardized worldwide. But we know that there's some inaccuracy in there, that originally the calendar, there was 13 months and they all had 28 days, that sort of thing.
I mean,
And so like when you try to make things that have those sort of time inaccuracies, when you try to rationalize that into some crazy conspiracy theory, I think that you're just taking what we already know and trying to turn it into something bigger.
Here's a weird news story that I think we can relate to, Keelan and I especially, but I'm sure that you two have encountered this also. Paul Jacobs, 42, of South Hampshire, England, ordered a roll of bubble wrap from Amazon. When he received it, the bubble wrap came in a package that was filled with 100 feet of brown wrapping paper. He said that he thought they had sent him the wrong order because the box was so heavy. But they put 100 feet of this packing paper in the box with bubble wrap. And it reminds me of working at the computer shop there. And we would get these giant boxes filled with this paper with one tiny little thing in it.
Yeah, Amazon's the biggest.
my biggest question though, is he planning on popping all that bubble wrap?
No,
Because I totally would.
he was getting it to protect his plants during a cold snap.
Well, that's actually pretty smart.
That's good.
And then he's going to
reason.
pop it all.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Because that's what I'd
Yeah.
do.
I ordered things at Christmas And like some of these things come in boxes that like I go, you couldn't find a bigger box. I received a book that I ordered for my husband once that was like it was a Deadpool book is what it was. It was a paperback compilation of several Deadpool comics.
Mm-hmm.
That is known as a trade.
Yes. Okay. Well, I received that in a box that was slightly too small for it, and the corners of it were bent.
See, I usually have the opposite problem. I'll order something and then they'll send like a little thing packaged like you can't see what I'm doing with my fingers. Sorry guys, but I'm making my fingers into a little tiny rectangle, and then they'll send it. It's like, I mean, it's like a 4x4 thing, and they'll send it in like a 12x6 box.
Yes. Well, I was going to say the opposite of that is I received a small necklace that I ordered that the box couldn't have been more than like 3 inches by 3 inches. Mm-hmm. The little box it came in a box big enough to hold like an entire computer.
Yep, I've seen a lot of that.
And filled with those little plastic pouches filled with air, that are in a string.
That's all there is. It's
full
just
of
that one box.
with this tiny box.
That's just insane.
And I was like, what did I order? And then I opened it and I was like, yeah, I remember ordering that. Okay, yeah, all right. Now I got to take out a pair of scissors and pop all of these things. So
You don't pop all of them with scissors. You jump on them.
I live with somebody who's scared of the sound of balloons popping.
Anything that has the potential to give me a tiny fright.
That's why
I find that unbearable.
I take a pair of scissors and slide it through and just cut them all
Oh, that's
and let the air out of them.
I would wait till he's gone and just jump.
It's actually
jump on
kind of
those.
fun to just stab them.
Balloons explode, Jen.
Well, since we're living in 1721, and one of us already has completed this task without knowing it, this question comes from Ask Reddit. If you were given a knightly title, such as Charles the Brave or James the Wise, what would it be?
Laura the Great. I received my title, it was not self-given. I worked as a stalker at Walmart, and we were staffed by morons for a while on the night shift.
They took what I call warm body principle, the idea that somebody is better than nobody. I disagree with this. Sometimes some people actually are negative. The amount of work that they do actually creates more work.
Right. Yeah.
There were several people who complained to management that the amount of pallets they had them go through in a night was unreasonable, that they could not complete these tasks by daylight. The management came in and watched tape of me working the entire grocery section by myself and doing all of those pallets, then having enough time to go help in other departments, and then came back and told those guys that they were idiots. So they came and asked me to train these morons.
I'm so sorry.
And my coworkers that were not morons that worked in the other departments started calling me Laura the Great and made me a badge to put on my badge.
That's awesome.
Because I was Laura the Great, conqueror of grocery department.
Well, what do you think? Really, the crux of this question is, what honorific really describes you best?
I've got one that's kind of a slam for Keelan.
Of course you do.
Keelan the mediocre.
No. Keelan the adequate.
Gee, thanks. I'm just adequate for you, huh?
Keelan the vanilla wizard.
The vanilla wizard.
Now,
Well, you would definitely be Jen the Pink right
Jen the
now
Pink.
with your pink hair.
I would be Jen the Pink.
It's like Lily the Pink.
Yeah. Take a drink to Jenny the Pink, Jenny the Pink,
See,
Jenny the Pink.
thinking about it now as we're discussing it, the real problem with this issue is trying to title yourself.
Right.
And so,
Well, I mean, I could tell you my what I think is my best quality, my best attribute, would be my loyalty to people. So I'd be, Jennifer the Loyal. But
Yeah, if you think about it like that, everybody, I mean, you should be able to, at this point in your life, be able to look at yourself and say, this one thing about me I like.
yeah.
I'm good at this. And maybe come up with a title with that.
But since this is a comedy show. And what would yours be?
Ryan the meh.
Meh.
Boy, you have just summed up all of my personal conflicts in the last few months so adequately. Right there, my own inner struggle.
He's gonna go home and cry now. Thanks.
Yeah, I actually, when I was reading this, I didn't notice the James the Wise here, but I actually was thinking Happy the Wise because I like to feel that I'm wise.
Yeah, you're a wise guy.
That too. So see, it works two ways.
Both ways.
But again, I think titling yourself, it's like trying to give yourself a nickname.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd say Happy the quick-witted. You're very quick-witted.
The witty.
Mm-hmm, the witty.
I heard somebody kind of along these same lines of talking the other day about catchphrases. Like, what's your catchphrase? And I, for a long time, was trying to interject a phrase that I thought eventually people might start to connect with me. I never took that.
What was the phrase?
Yeah, what was the phrase?
I do what I can.
I do it again.
See, I picked that up and started saying that.
That's funny.
That was the effect you had on that. When
I
people
knew
would
I should
say,
have trademarked it.
Yeah.
You owe me like $3.
when people would say, "Thanks, you're so awesome," I'd say, "I do what I can."
That's funny.
I picked that up from you.
I do borrow things I like from people like
I do too.
that. And
I think one of the ones that I've here recently borrowed the most is the phrase "You're not wrong," and I cannot remember for the life of me who I picked it up from.
He says that a lot.
Well, he does say that a lot, but I've heard other people say it. Too.
I've
There's
probably
5 or 6
picked it up
people.
from somewhere too.
Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 people that say it now.
in editing one of our Minecraft videos, I caught myself saying something that the Happy Bandit says all the time. Well, he used to say all the time. I forget the exact circumstance, but basically I said, there's a rumor that
There's a rumor.
There's a rumor that I may be lost. That's what it was. I was going the wrong direction. There's a rumor I may be lost.
It's like the rumors of my death have been greatly
Exaggerated.
Yeah. He picked up from the show Psych. Whenever he says something wrong and I correct him, he goes, "I've heard it both ways."
Yeah.
He picked that up from Psych.
Wait, that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
So maybe you'd be Ryan the borrower.
Ryan the repeater.
Another one that I think fits me well
Brian,
is,
the copyright infringer.
There you go. Another one that I think would fit me very well would be Jennifer the Distracted.
Yes.
Because I'm always like, squirrel.
Again, I hate to think that we're all just piling on Keelan. But,
It's so fun.
but one of the things that says Keelan the literal. Because there's a lot of things that a lot of phrases in terms, there's a lot of words and phrases that there's a definition and a connotation. Definition being, the specific intended purpose of those words or phrases.
Oh.
And then the connotation is what society has brought it to mean.
Right.
And a lot of times you tend to be very strict on definitions of things.
I do.
And
yeah.
it kind of cracks me up.
Keelan the Exaggerator. He exaggerates
I
things
do
a lot.
exaggerate lots of things.
See, I want to
time.
say, I want to say, Keelan the underconfident,
Aww.
because like we were talking about this the other day, that you are a much better drummer than you believe yourself to be.
Mm-hmm.
You are much better at the computer work and stuff that you think you are. Like, you think that you're just really good at the Google, but there are a lot of people who can't do that.
Yeah.
Like,
no
they
kidding.
require your
wouldn't
services.
They would not think of the things that you think about to Google.
Yeah.
So.
And so I would call you Keelan the underconfident, because you're much better at the things that you're good at than you think you are.
I agree with that.
So
I'm not confident. I'm not a confident man.
Or we can go nice and say Keelan the humble.
yes.
There you
Keelan the
go.
humble.
There you go, the humble.
That's much better.